Boom, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be, and of course, however you may be listening. We are so close to the actual start of the 2022-2023 Iowa Hawkeye football season. It really flies by. I remember, when I was in high school and college, it seemed like it was an eternity between the end of the season and the start of the new season. But this one has flown by for me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I could be totally different than everybody on this one. But nonetheless, it is right around the corner. I could not be more ecstatic. I know you guys are totally thrilled, and I will have you guys covered every step of the way. Today, we had the Kids Day, the Iowa Hawkeyes annual Kids Day, which is awesome. I love that they do that, and it's a great way for fans to come out and support the Iowa Hawkeyes, see a little bit of action, and things like that. Now, right off the bat, I want to say that this is just a snapshot. We are only given a snapshot, a glimpse into what each guy has been doing in spring and then now in fall. We don't see what the guys do in the weight room. We don't see the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps. This is really just a glimpse into the looking glass that is the Iowa Hawkeye football team. So it truly is hard to make any wild declaration when it comes to the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Kids Day. But nonetheless, we're going to take a look at the stats and watch a little bit of highlights. I'll give you my 2 cents on it, as well as who I'm hearing is doing a really good job in camp, maybe some under the radar guys. And without further ado, let's get into this. So just in case you weren't aware, some of the guys that I have read and been told are currently out. Obviously the most significant ones would be Jackson Ritter and Justin Britt, who are out for the season. Deontay Vines got injured as well. Hopefully he can be back soon. I am anticipating that he will be back for at least some of the season, if not most of it. Brody Brecht has been out. David Koff was out, although I think he was back today. Let's see who else was out. Keegan Johnson has been out. So the Hawks definitely have had a lot of guys out. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They have had some guys out, and I would say the most significant position would be the wide receivers and the guys they have out. So here we go. This is courtesy of Kyle Huseman. Love that he got the stats out there. Let's dive into it right off the bat here. If you missed the Kids Day practice in Iowa City and wanted to know what kind of stats the Hawkeyes put on Saturday afternoon, we have all that information for you. Take a look at the stats for all 3 Iowa quarterbacks that threw passes at Kinnick Stadium, the players they threw to, and the numbers put up in the ground game. Quarterbacks: Spencer Petrus, 5 for 9, 70 yards. Now, from what I read, Spencer Petrus was the best one out there. He obviously probably went up against the ones. Now, my take here is I'm looking for signs of growth from Spencer Petrus. And the way that I'm looking for that is completion percentage when the season starts, touchdown passes, deep ball connection, things like that. I'm looking for indicators of moving forward. And 5 for 9 is about what he was last year. Now, I'm not, poo-pooing how he did in this Kids Day scrimmage. But again, in the spring game and to now, we just aren't seeing something spectacular. Okay. Not that it was bad, but not spectacular. And the 5 for 9, and that's pretty much Spencer Petrus. I mean, Spencer Petrus up to this point, if I could describe it in one phrase, would be, I mean, what else am I supposed to say? You know, it's not that he's always terrible, as Chuck would say, terrible. That's just terrible. But he's also not a gamer. He's not diming people out left and right. And I was hoping to see, a 7 for 10 or, an 8 for 11 or, a 6 for 9, 7 for 9, but I'm not going to be overly critical of it. 5 for 9, 70 yards. And most of the reports are that he looked pretty good. Padilla went 9 for 12, 77 yards. Labus went 10 for 13 for 63 yards and 2 INTs. Folks, the bottom line with the quarterback position is this. It's going to be Spencer Petrus to start the season. And unless he is terrible, it's going to be him the whole season. And if he's not, I would say the leash is pretty short when it comes to yanking him or not yanking him. So that's what it's going to be. I mean, day one starter is going to be Spencer Petrus, folks. That's just the bottom line. I wish I could tell you that it was a legit open competition and the Iowa Hawkeye coaching staff had a completely open mind. I think they have an open mind, but not utterly and completely. I think they lean more towards Petrus. And last year, they went to Padilla out of need, out of desperation, because they were so terrible on offense rather than truly wanting to go to Padilla. Believe me, they wanted Petrus to work out. So anyways, running backs. LaShawn Williams, 10 rushes for 31 yards, 1 TD run. Caleb Johnson, 10 rushes for 25 yards. Josiah Patterson, who I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about, very smooth runner. I told you guys that in his recruitment video. I told you guys that he was very, very underrated, undervalued. I could see why he had all the offers that he did, committable and uncommittable. 12 rushes for 42 yards. He had a great day. He was a bright spot today. Caleb Johnson, physically, he looks phenomenal. It's the other stuff that he's going to have to work on. But physically, Caleb Johnson looks superb. He's what, you want a running back to look like. He's built like a brick shit house. Excuse my language. He is ripped, flat out. Tight end, Sam Laporta, 1 reception, 23 yards. Luke Lachey, 3 receptions, 29 yards. Addison Ostrenga, who I'm hearing is doing great. It's likely that he is going to receive some playing time. And I got to tell you, I'm not surprised by that either. Addison, folks, let me tell you something. Anytime you are a good enough athlete to be a Division I level athlete in two sports, you're legit. And, now that he can put all of his energy on football, the sky's the limit for this guy. Continuing on down the line here, we have Steven Stellianos, 2 receptions, 14 yards. Johnny Pascuzzi, who Kirk Ferentz seems to be very high on, who I mentioned in that 2021 class, the Hawkeyes snagged a bunch of preferred walk-on guys that they probably would not have been able to get in normal years. So those are the stats for the tight ends. Wide receivers, Reganey, 43 yards, 3 receptions. Arlan Bruce, 2 receptions, 22 yards. Wetschgen, 3 receptions, 16 yards. Bostic, 2 receptions for 23 yards. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I like that stat line. The kickers looked way better. I am very optimistic about how the kickers are doing. Drew Stevens and Aaron Blom. Carson Sherrar had an INT. Xavier Wampa had an INT. Lucas Van Ness and TJ Hall credited with sacks. All these guys right here are going to see time on the field this year. Special teams, defense, whatever. They are going to see some snaps this year. All right, guys, we're going to finish up by watching a little bit of the highlights here again, courtesy of Hawkeye Report. They always get these highlights. I appreciate it big time. So here we go, guys. Here we go. I wish it had some sound to it. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Alex Padilla with a nice drop back. Beautiful pass. If he can make that happen on a consistent basis, the Hawkeyes will be in excellent shape. I've said from the get-go that for me, the top guy, or the guy that I would nice TD run there, the guy that I would hitch my wagon to would be Joey Labus. I just think he is the most physically gifted. I think he has the highest ceiling. I think Carson May has a pretty high ceiling as well, but he still needs a year under his belt. I think Joey Labus, after the first couple of games of the season, would be ready to go. Again, that's who I would hitch my wagon to. A couple other notes while we're watching the highlights here. Deontay Vines was having a phenomenal camp. When he's healthy, he is going to be in the rotation. I think right now, as it stands, the rotation at wide receiver is going to be Arland Bruce, Keegan Johnson, Nico Reganey, a.k.a. Nico Raggiani. Brody Brecht will see some snaps, and Deontay Vines. I think those are going to be the top 5 guys. Maybe Jacob Bostic, maybe Caden Wetchton. I would say that those are the 2 guys on the outside looking in. But the other guys are going to be the guys getting the most snaps at wide receiver. So Michael Myslinski went down with an injury in this Kids Day. Hopefully it's not too severe. I think he's really talented wherever he ends up on the offensive line, either center or guard. Time will tell there. See, Labus, that's what Labus can do. He can do the over the shoulder weak side throw on the run, which I think is awesome. Here, let's watch some defensive plays here also. And again, I just think he has the physical ability to do way more than the other quarterbacks. In the end, guys, it comes down to Iowa being able to run the ball. That's what it comes down to. And I think Iowa has numerous options. I think the offensive line is going to be much improved. So I'm not really worried there. The quarterbacks really have no excuse. They have as much talent. The Iowa Hawkeyes have as much talent at wide receiver as they have ever had in that room. Outside of maybe the Brandon Smith and Amir Smith-Marset years, I mean, and even then, in those years, all they had was Brandon Smith and Amir Smith-Marset. Whereas now, the Hawkeyes have 5 legitimate guys who could see some significant snaps. Great tackle. Great tackle. Love it. Joey Labus again. Joey Labus. On a side note, very shocked that Iowa is not in the top 25 for the coaches poll. This team is loaded. The only question mark on this team is quarterback. Now, granted, that's a big question mark. For any other school, it would be a huge question mark. But for the Iowa Hawkeyes, they can win 10 games with a mediocre quarterback. They've done it many times. So very shocked by that. Let me know what you guys think of the Kids Day. Drop a comment in the comment section. Like the video. Subscribe. Help your boy out. This channel is doing great because of you guys, the fans. Iowa fans really are the best. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys next time. DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.